Welcome makers to the third part of the Scissor arm project tutorial. In this third part we're going to create a custom handle. This is not a step-by-step process of how you have to make the handle, but rather I'm just going to give you this video as to show you some of the options or some of the things you might consider when creating your handles for the Scissor arm. So let's go ahead and create. We're gonna create a new document that we're gonna call handle. And in here, we're gonna bring what we did on the first part, when we made the scissor link. So one way to call into this new document a piece or a part of a previous document is when you go here on the toolbar and select derived. It's gonna ask you to select what part studio. So sometimes if you go here and select other documents, I'm gonna select this one, you can go ahead and check your previous documents. If it's the case that you can see your scissor arm, it will ask you if you want to create a version of it, like a B1 version of it. Go ahead and click yes. So you create a version. Again, it's not gonna modify anything from that document, but it will let you see the scissor arm project and the different pieces and sketches that we did in order to create that. So what I'm gonna do is to just bring up to this current document, the handle one, the sketch that we used for the scissor link. And I'm gonna hit OK. Now I'm gonna create a new sketch on the front plane, which is coincidentally where this first sketch, the one that we brought up, is also located. And I'm gonna click front in order to see it from the top. Now in here, using the tool use, I'm gonna bring up this line, this one as well, this circle, and this curve. But I'm not gonna use these two because remember we're working on the handle. So what I'm gonna do here is to make an extension of this, and this is for us to kind of like preserve this first part. So the distance between the circles, nothing is changed. So this will gonna be integrated with the rest of the scissor arm. But now I'm gonna create like a small pattern of lines, a couple of fingers, and that's pretty much it. So we've extended the scissor link into the handle that we want to create. And again, just take this as an example. You can do whatever you want as for the handle. Before I click OK on the sketch, I'm gonna put some measurements just for me to know. For example, I'm gonna make this distance to be 30 millimeters, and the following ones I'm gonna make them to be 25 millimeters. So 25, 25. And then lastly, I'm gonna tell the distance between those two lines is gonna be 30. Oh, probably because these two others are already in line with this first one. Now they're all constrained as well, but in case they're still showing up in your design as blue, you can just select this one, and put a distance of 30 millimeters as well. So for now, I'm gonna click OK, and I'm gonna extrude this handle with a depth of 10 millimeters. And lastly, just because we can do it, I'm gonna delete this, or rather gonna soften these edges. I'm using a radius of 5 millimeters, but you can increase or decrease that radius as you please. And there we have it, like a simple version of a handle. Now, if you don't want to do this, that's totally fine. Let's say, let me delete this for a sec. Let's say you actually don't want these lines and you would prefer to make something that looks like a scissor handle. You can do that as well. Let's see, maybe I can just do this and then create a rectangle here. I'm gonna click front to see it to have a better view of it. And on dimensions, maybe I need this to be 50. This to be something like 20 or 25. Let's make it slightly bigger so it's easy to use. So right now I'm just playing with the measurements. There's nothing set in stone of how this is supposed to be. Now probably these walls are too small, but for now let's leave them as they are. So, and then we can extrude this same part again for 10 millimeters. And if you'd like to, just like we did on the previous example, you can play a little bit with the different radius. I'm gonna leave this one as it is, and then maybe I'm gonna use a fillet but with a different radius for the inner edges. Let's say using a 10 millimeters. Very useful to have the right clicking here in order to move and to see all the different edges, even the ones from the inside. So this is another example of a handle, and because this could be mirrored, or when they're fabricated with the laser cutter, you can just print or cut two of this and pretty much like can put them mirrored one to each other. So you just need to create a single handle and then fabricate two of them to have the handles ready for your scissor arm. So these are two ways that you can create your handles. Use whichever you like. If I'm being honest, if I could go back, I may change a little bit the sketching here. Maybe make this walls around the handle a bit bigger. And we could totally do that. Actually, if we go to sketch and we tell this to be 140 millimeters, then to be 20, this one to be 160. Maybe increase this for 70. With these modifications, this is my new handle. And the rest of the things that we apply, like the fillets, they just adjust themselves. If you ever want to kind of make a change on the fillet, you can do so as well. So let's say we ended up deciding that we need this fillet to also be 10 millimeters. You can do that, and I'm not sure if you noticed, but in the overall, the final piece, they actually got changed. So there you have it. This is a way to make your custom handle, and the same thing goes for the gripper. Now the only thing that I would ask you to consider for the gripper would be to make sure that what you're grabbing is kind of like close to this. Why? Because in the scissor arm mechanism, this end point, and let's say the other one that's maybe crossing here, they're gonna meet at some point. Or rather, they kind of meet perfectly. They're gonna try to. So anything you build from here after, kind of like the handle, but also let's say that one piece of the gripper could should be made after this center point. So then you have the two pieces of the gripper. Again, if this is a symmetrical gripper where this whatever you're making here is also going to be replicated in the other side, it should be fairly easy to create for your own gripper. And the shape should be anything you like. You can go online and see examples. So yeah, this is this is a way to create your own handle. Be as creative as possible. Try things out. If the first try or the first thing you end up making as a handle or as a gripper it's not working correctly, or you want to like redo it again, you feel free to totally do so. So there you have it. This is part 3, and in the next part of the tutorial, I'm gonna show you how to do something similar but using Tinkercad instead, which allows for some extra features.